podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Sonny Kruger. I'm joined by my co-host, the one, the only, the Ric Flair of comic books himself, Uncle Gary.
Woo! Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yes, thank you for joining everyone. And Uncle Gary, thank you for joining me. Today we got more of a laid-back episode. The final thing we'll do on the actual episode will be our topic of the week. And since it is October 1st, we're in spooky season, as they'd call it. It is, what are some horror stories people should read for Halloween? But before that, we got the F list and something maybe backfiring on some people. Before that, we have a random panel of the week. We got Variant Insanity. We got Right or Wrong. Uncle Gary's got 3 statements. I've got 2. And of course, we got some comic book news for everybody. Do some updates on that KO tournament.
What tournament?
It's a KO.
Oh, the KO tournament. Okay, are there updates to it? Gotcha.
Updates about how everybody could get involved in it.
That's right. Picks. So we still have time because we've done it on the station. I should take what I've done and enter it, right?
Yes, for
sure.
How
long do I have for that?
You know what? I'll pull it up when we get on to the actual show, but you still got a few weeks. To the 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'll get to more information on that as we go on.
Got till October 7th to do that? Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I just did mine a little before the show began. I put mine in the ones that I had done for the show. Yeah. So first things first, as we welcome everyone here, you know what to do.
You think Warren Buffett's going to give $1 million to somebody that's got a perfect bracket in this?
That would be awesome. Yeah.
NCAA.
I heard he did that, before. So maybe
he does that every NCAA. He offers $1 million.
So maybe
the basketball.
So hopefully
nobody's
he's a
ever
DC
claimed
fan.
it.
Man, Uncle Gary, we've got something that we'd like to give to everybody.
Well, listen, you don't have to look at me for it. If you just focused on Sonny and looked at him, you would know that he has all the socials, every single damn one of them. But I guess I got them too. I'm on the station, so we've infected each other with the socials, and now what we want to do is infect you with them. So all you got to do is hit that button and let us give you what we have.
That's right. And if you want some more from us, like to get some merchandise, codex, you want to meet the team, and much more stuff, you can go to www.thecodexstation.com. And now we've got some stuff going on. You still got some time to vote. October 11th is the last day to vote for the CBC Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right, there you go. www.cbcawards.org. And we are nominated.
Yes, we are.
The Codex Station, or first of all, Comics Unleashed from the Codex Station is up for Best Live Stream. We've got Best Informative Content, which is the Codex Station. Also, Best Live Stream is Comics Unleashed from the Codex Station. And Best Entertaining Content, the Codex Station. And the Most Engaging Host, Sal the Slab Guy from the Codex Station. Make sure to get those votes.
Great company. Look at that. Great company we keep.
Yeah. And you know what? Speaking of that Most Engaging Host, Sal the Slab Guy, he's going to be on Codex tomorrow, I believe, with you as well, Uncle Gary, for Comic Character of the Week.
He is. We're doing Stargirl.
So Stargirl is the star of tomorrow's show. So
Courtney Whitmore. Yes.
Yeah, so we got that going on. And then what else we've been up to? I finally finished this show called A Series About a Series.
Congratulations.
Thank you. This show I was working on it when I got this call from a buddy of mine named Jamie Wojcik about, hey, I got this idea for a podcast. And I'm like, so it's yours, and I'm on there a lot. And he's like, no, I want it to be, it's going to be 50-50. And I said, okay, I'm filming this show. Let me at least finish filming it, and then we can go so that I know I can be fully invested, and we can do this week after week. And then the show wrapped up, the first episode wrapped up filming, and then, June 9th, 2021, we started the Codex podcast, which eventually became the Codex Station. Became 2 friends, became a whole team. So now that show that I was working on back then, it is all complete. A Series About a Series is on YouTube. All 4 episodes. Episode 1, pilot. Episode 2, An Idea to Live For. Episode 3, Transitioning. And Episode 4, Finale.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And in a few scenes, if it sounds like you hear somebody that sounds familiar, yes, I do some of the other background voices too, but also that most engaging host, Sal the Slab Guy, did a couple voices for it. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. And then in episode 1, Jamie and Tim had done some voices in the background. And then in episode 3, you hear this very nice song called I Did It Again. It's by a band called Never Say Die. And you may say, man, that voice sounds familiar, that singer. And that is Dan Kelly.
Very good.
So yeah, so there you go.
So it sounds like it's your Nepo baby.
Pretty much, yeah. And even there's a scene I made sure, I try to put in little codex moments. There's a big moment in episode 4, more towards the end, and you may notice a certain hoodie that the character has in the background there. I was like, I've got to get more codex stuff in there. So yes, so there's a scene in quite a while. You see it. So if you watch the scene, you clearly see this hoodie.
And that's all you're wearing.
It's another character who has it, and it's like right next to me. He's talking, and there's
the hoodie.
Make sure that you see that beautiful Codex hoodie.
You'd start a new movie, Boys in the Hoodie.
Yeah, but also I had a bit of a mail call. I mean, it's not too much comic related, but it's October now, so it's all preparing for Halloween, and so now I'm getting more towards my horror story. So I got this, Uncle Gary.
Oh wow! Look at you.
Just so a little spiked baseball bat. To make sure I don't accidentally hit my head.
Getting your inner Negan on.
Yeah, but I know he's more. Was he a barbed wire bat?
Yeah, it's barbed wire. That's what it is.
Because when I was looking for, like a normal person just looking for a spiked baseball bat, I kept coming across barbed wire. I'm like, no, I need spiked baseball bat. Yeah,
that's right.
So I did come across all that. Yeah, but this is for a story of mine called "Killing Set in Motion." It was banned off of Wattpad, and now I'm trying to get it going again so that it could eventually sell it on Amazon. So that's some of the things I'm up to. And of course, we're all coming up with new stuff for the Codex Station, new plans, new ideas for all the shows. So yeah,
whether you like it or not.
Yeah, hopefully, anybody got anything that if there's something that you like of the station or of any of the shows, and you're like, this needs to stay, feel free to put it in the comments. Like, hey, I want this to definitely stay in the show. And look at that. Who is it? It's Dan Kelly. He says, so Sonny has a new way to torture his action figures now. No, this bike bat is only for Peace.
You're gonna give Peace a chance?
Yeah. I do a lot for Peace. I'm not like Peacemaker, what he says.
Well, that's what happens when you hit your action figures with it. You're a peacemaker. Little pieces.
I haven't hit anybody with it.
Yeah.
I don't have to. Yeah. But yeah, so at least it's good that we got, like I said, Comic Character of the Week coming up, Stargirl, and then of course Comics Unleashed coming up this Saturday.
Yep.
And then, of course, Wednesday is the day that comic books come out. Any new comic books that came out to the store today that you think people be interested in?
Quite a few. Yeah, but I haven't even read any from last week. I had quite a busy weekend, and then it's just that's what I said. You're breaking them in pieces. I haven't gotten to dive into last week's that I wanted to. Last week had a new Hyde Street, and I didn't get to read it. Today, more good stuff. Last week had History of the DC Universe. I didn't get to read it. This week's second issue of the new Batman book came out, and let's see what else was the big book. I'm trying to think. My mind's blanking now, but I got a stack of books. That's for sure. Came home with a stack. So Hyde Street Trade, for those of you that haven't been getting Hyde Street yet, the trade of 1 through 7 came out. Go get it. Treat yourself.
Okay, yeah, because I know that you really like that comic, so I'm like, okay,
I love that book.
And I'm a trade person. I usually get more trades when they're.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know when the show ends, I know what I will be adding to that wish list of mine.
Go get Hyde Street. Yep, just came out today.
So that's good. And yeah, and then they say, the History of the DC Universe. I got the first 2. I just got to get the next 2 because now it's complete now, right?
Well, this is issue 3 that just came out.
Okay, so 3. Okay, so then there still needs to be 4. Okay. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I still got to get onto that. Yeah, I've got the first 2, but I didn't read them yet. But
Yeah, so we're definitely looking forward to diving into number 3. First 2 were great though. A lot Lot of fun. Several absolutes. Absolute villain issue that Mike said he read and really enjoyed. So there's a villain. I forget the name of it now, but it was an absolute villain issue. Then there,
Dan
yeah,
Reese about Hyde Street. Yeah, so
absolutely it is. Then there was Absolute Green Lantern and Absolute Superman today. So there were 3 absolute books that came out today.
Would you say you have out of the absolute? Would you say you have a favorite so far out of the ones?
I think I like Wonder Woman the best.
I started reading that. I've read the first couple. I'm still because the first one is like a 5-part. I've read a couple issues and I'm enjoying it. But yeah,
I think Batman's pretty cool, but I think I like Wonder Woman still a little bit more. That first arc of Wonder Woman was so good.
Yeah, so that's something. Yeah, that what we're reading. That's what I'm reading is the Absolute Wonder Woman. And it's been good.
I agree.
Gary, you know what? If you're up for it, I'm up for it. Ready to jump on to the actual show of the Codex podcast?
Let's do it. Let's blow the top off this thing and let's go.
And again, hello everyone. Welcome to the actual show of the Codex podcast. I'm your host, Sonny Kruger, joined by my usual co-host, the Ric Flair of comic books himself, Uncle Gary.
Woo! Thanks for joining us. Mighty Mike Harbor was going to join us, but he had a work thing that came up at the very last second, so he had to take a pass. So he was disappointed he couldn't join you. So just wanted you to know I'm sure he's thinking of us. He'd rather be dealing with us than dealing with work. But hey, life gets you sometimes.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that he likes us more than work. If it was the opposite way around, I'd be a little questionable. Like, man,
yeah, I mean, if this was worse than work, then that would be terrible.
Yeah, but we will have Mighty Mike back on the show, and soon later on this month, you, and Mighty Mike will be reviewing Swamp Thing number 10. So
number 10, one of my favorite ghost stories ever. Yep.
Yeah, and then that gets me talking about later on today in the show. Speaking of ghost stories, the topic of the week will be what are some horror stories people should read for Halloween. Like I said, we'll get on to that later. And then, but before that, we've got the F list, and something may backfire on the F list today. And then there's a random panel of the week. Somebody's getting hit over the head. It's time to get ready for Halloween. And then I came across this panel. I said, this one needs to be shown. And then, of course,
that was a trick and not a treat, evidently.
Oh yeah. And then too, we've got Virulent Insanity, and then of course, Right or Wrong. Uncle Gary's got 3 statements for the day, and I've got 2. And then, of course, to begin things off, well, first we've got Booge. Greetings, Booge.
Booge. It's not just Booge. It's Booge. That's right.
See, Booge says, Sonny, don't call me Freddy because my action figures do Kruger. My Freddy Krueger action figure is in very good condition.
Yeah, that's because you're related. That's the only one that's made it unscathed.
Jason's good. Michael's good. The horror characters they're good. Yeah.
Is that professional courtesy? From one serial killer to another? Is that what that is?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but they know, if they get out of hand, I got this in the mail in case he's showing who the boss is.
Yeah, you did. What was the question about Savage Dragon?
Dan Kelly was asking, he said, Backfire, is it a Savage Dragon villain with farting powers?
If it is, that, you know what? I'm sure it is now.
But all right, guys, we've got a bit of news, and you know what? So that means it's time for the rundown.
Rundown.
Okay, so we've heard about this DCKO tournament, even on Comics Unleashed. We all went through our brackets, but now you can go through your bracket as well. DC has put it out online that anybody can enter in their bracket for the DC tournament, and you can win prizes with it. So,
Ooh.
in a little bit, I'll get onto some details with that. But earlier before the show, I put in my picks.
Did you make the same picks you picked here?
I did. I wanted to put in the same exact ones.
So you had Vixen beating Swamp Thing?
So I looked at it again. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I picked Vixen on the show. I've got to go with
So
Vixen.
you stayed with Vixen beating Swamp Thing? All
I
right.
had to stick with it.
Sonny's perfect bracket is already busted.
So we will see. That's gonna. I think out of the first round, that's the most one I'm interested in now is Vixen versus Swamp Thing. Other good fights, but that one
not gonna happen.
But some other news, some crazy things that might be happening. You see, I got some Guns N' Roses on, and that's because there's a Guns N' Roses comic book coming out. Axl Rose, Appetite for the Destruction. And then on top of that, James Gunn had some news about the DCU, talking about certain. He was saying that certain characters he doesn't think he'll do movies of, and then also that there might not be a piece. People are leading to there might not be a Peacemaker season 3, depending on what happens. If there's a new, universe created from the show, so we'll see with that. Yeah, so that's pretty much the news. Like I said, it has been more of a slower week. But so maybe I'll jump off right at the start with that DCKO tournament. Like I said, so yeah, on DC site they do have it where you can pick who you think is going to win for each one. And Boosh says Vixen over Swamp Thing. Sonny, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what we said, Boosh. That's what we said.
I think I was the only one who went.
You were the only one that picked that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one. And then for Barda over Zatanna, I think it was me, and I think Jamie might have been the other one. But Barda was. I was surprised how much everyone was against her. Jay Garrick. Everyone had Jay Garrick over Cheetah.
Yeah.
But Vixen's she's got to pull off the upset for me.
Oh, speaking of Cheetah, that was one of the new books that I was. The Cheshire and Cheetah robbed the Justice League or something.
Okay.
And third issue of that, I've loved that book so far.
A fun one or more like serious?
Yeah, more like fun. They're going to have a caper and they're going to rob the Justice League. So they're going to get on the satellite and steal something. So nice. I like it.
Boozy said you haven't watched Peacemaker season 2 yet. Same here. I think I'm waiting for the whole season to end and then kind of binge watch it all. That's a show me and my Maria watch. So we agreed. We'll wait and watch it all. But yeah. But also with the KO tournament, let me get in some of the rules for everybody. So for round 1, you have until October 7th, the end of October 7th, to get your picks in for the whole tournament. And then just picking gets you entered to win some random prizes. But then there's a huge grand prize for the whole thing if you call the whole thing right. But you got to get the whole thing right, and then you're in the running to win the grand prize where you could be in a comic book.
Wow.
So that's you got to get every single one right, then you're in the running and you can get it. But for round 2, it says it begins November 11th and ends November 25th. Then when round 3 comes along, you have from December 30th to January 6th. For round 4, you have from January 20th to January 27th. And then for round 5, you have from February 17th, and it will end on February 24th.
Nice.
Yeah, so like I said, some of the big things you can win before it's a lot of, for winning like round 2, round 3, you get into running where you could win comic books signed by some DC. It just says signed by DC talent. And then for round 4, when you make it to the semifinals, it says 3 winners shall receive a 1-year free trial to DC Universe Infinite annual Ultra subscription, digital collectible DC3 variant pack, and digital collectible DCKO logo. And for that round number 5, the end one, the 3 winners shall receive 1 DC comic issue with original sketch by a DC talent. And like I said, the major one, the big prize is that you could be in a comic book.
That's a heck of a prize.
Yeah, imagine that one. There I am, right next to Superman. Or next to Vixen. Giving Vixen the title.
Giving her the title? Yeah, that you willed her to win.
Yeah, but no, I think she's getting out in that second round. I think Cyborg's taking around that second round. So yeah, like I said, anybody feel free to go in. It is free to enter. Just got to get your email in there, and then they will send you a confirmation. So like me, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it.
Not with that pick, you're not.
But hey, who knows? I could be. I could. They say too for the first round is just if you entered.
Well,
So,
they're going to throw some upsets in there, so that would be a improbable upset, but it could happen because they're not going to. I'm sure they to make this so everybody wins. They didn't just make it where it's straight up who would win, who would lose without a curveball being thrown.
yeah, so that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, there's got to be somewhere an upset, and I'm like, I think Uncle Gary is going to be the one who's angry about the upset.
I don't think I may be angry about an upset, but I don't think it'll be that one.
Yeah, we will see. Like I said, I'm very interested to see what will happen with that one because I know if she loses, I'm gonna hear it.
We're already disappointed, and you can't get any worse.
Well, just wait and see what the future holds.
Well, we shall see. If you win it, well, no, you got us all. You got us all by the short and curlies if you win it.
Yeah, it's one of those all or nothing things.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see some of Conte Bush said the world needs more Jennifer Holland about Peacemaker. And for before talking about Zatanna, Dan says I'd want to be Zatanna's new assistant. Imagine if she's just messing up on all her spells.
Mm.
Yeah. Who knows what could happen? But also too, like say James Gunn, how we hear about Peacemaker and everything. Makes I haven't seen season 2 yet. I'm waiting till the whole thing happens, but I love the show. I mean, the first season I thought was terrific. So we'll see what goes on with that. And then James Gunn was also he had mentioned it was brought up about the Authority being made, and he did say that's still going forward. There was some problems before, but the Authority is still being made, and it's not confirmed if it's going to be a movie or a show. But James Gunn was saying he doesn't really want to do too many movies about characters that are not so known because it's harder to get people in theaters. So
right, I agree with that.
That was kind of leading people to think that maybe it'll be a show. Also, that he mentioned someone. He said, they're the show, or something like they're the runner. They're the one who has it. So like something that he said kind of let people believe he's got it. Yeah. And then when it was when you were talking about me disappointing, Dan says Sonny hasn't begun to disappoint. That's right, because I don't disappoint. It won't happen. And then when it comes to Bush, says the twist is going to be when the winner is revealed to be the great D-Man.
D-Man from Marvel. There you go. That would be a twist nobody sees.
Imagine if there's an F-Man. It's somebody from the F list.
Dennis Dumpy.
And then Dan said, instead of Peacemaker Season 3, I think they're going to go do some kind of spin on freedom fighters. And two, also, there was some news, like I was saying, about Guns N' Roses, about Axl Rose, Appetite for Destruction. So I'll read a bit of what I was reading about it. So it did say a press release describes the graphic novel series as follows. Set in a neon-drenched paradise city where humans and robots are meant to coexist, Appetite for Destruction follows Axl Rose, a half-human, half-robot who lives on the fringes and finds solace in the music of a back-alley lounge singer. When she vanishes under mysterious circumstances, Axl's search for answers drags him into a deadly conspiracy, one that could decide the fate of humanity itself. And I did say that Nathan Yoakum from Sumerian Comics. So it will be Sumerian Comics releasing this Guns N' Roses comic book. The co-creator, founder of the series, co-creator added Axl Rose, Appetite for Destruction is a raw, neon noir fever dream, part rock anthem, part cyberpunk prophecy. Axl and I built a world where rebellion isn't just attitude, it's survival. It's Axl like you've never seen him before, on the front lines of a battle for humanity's future. Now, this is set to be, the hardcover is set to be $39.99. I'd be like, whoa, $39.99. Yes, GNR comic, Axl Rose, Appetite for Destruction. And then if you want to get one that has signed stuff, it comes with like shirts, the book, a whole bunch of stuff. It's only $300.
Well, you know what? I will not be getting any of those because it does not interest me. Axl Rose is is a bit of a clown, so I will not be spending my hard-earned ducats on a Guns N' Roses comic.
Are you going to be going to their concert lately? They're going on a new tour starting today.
And I won't be going to the concert either. Axl's too mercurial for me to invest money in.
I mean, I'm a big fan, but I've seen some videos lately, and I think it might be time to hang it up.
Yeah.
Or fight robots like he's doing now. Hey, there we go. He's fighting robots now. But I do plan to go see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest. I might be seeing them this weekend.
You know what? I like Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper evidently lived in an apartment building in New York, and one of his neighbors was Groucho Marx. And Groucho Marx, for the later years of his life, he had insomnia and he had trouble getting to sleep. And Cooper was really nice to him and would go over and watch TV with him. They'd watch stuff on TV, and then Groucho would fall asleep, and then I think Alice would let himself out and all that. So it just seemed like a real sweet, relationship that the two of them had, a friendship like that.
Nice. Yeah, and always big Alice Cooper fan. So I saw him before Life Pin on a great show. Saw him get the head cut off, and good fun. But good before fun. About Guns N' Roses boosted. Yeah, I know Slash helped put out the new Deathstalker, and then for the extra Rose Appetite for Destruction boost. Bush says I'll pass, and Dan says I'm going to go out on a limb and say that book is going to suck. And Bush said that's a sturdy limb.
I would have a lot more faith in Slash than I would in Axl.
So there you go. It seems that most will be passing, and you know what? If it was like a $4 comic, I might pick it up. But for a $40 comic,
no,
I will also be passing on that.
Yes, I will not even entertain the thought of it, getting it.
There are some omnibuses out there, some classic comic books that aren't much more than that.
Yeah, get some real entertainment. Or you know what? If you want to spend money on Axl, then buy one of the classic CDs. It's got good music on it, and go with that. Don't buy any of the new, or whenever the hell Chinese Democracy or whatever it was came out or whatever. Get the old school Guns N' Roses CD and enjoy that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And even I think Dan, before when we were in our chat about that, he's like, if it's going to take as long as it took Chinese Democracy to come out, then who knows when it'll come out? Yeah.
And Chinese Democracy was not worth waiting for.
I liked it. I did.
Did you? Okay.
I was one of the dozen people who did like it.
Okay, well, all 14
obviously not as much as all
14 of you were pleased. That's great.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm one of the few. But that takes care of that. And yeah, that's pretty much most of the news, that's been coming out. Like I said earlier, you were talking about comic books that have been coming out this week and everything. So, yeah. And I'm sure with it being October, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of good Halloween and good horror comic books that come out this month. I'm sure probably some reprints as well, some facsimiles.
I bought a horror comic today. I mean, just because of a cover, it's not a book I've been getting, but it showed the Grim Reaper at a vending machine and had people in it.
Nice, cool cover.
So that's that. I said, okay, I got to get that. So it's Grim Reaper at a vending machine, and which he's like, which person will I get?
Nice. How do you? What was the name of the comic?
Vanishing Point.
Okay, I have to at least look that up because that sounds like something cool.
Yeah, it was number. I want to say it's number 5. There was a Vanishing Point one shot I got earlier this year that was really good, but I didn't get the ongoing Vanishing Point series. But that cover made me say, okay, I have to have that cover. I like to have Grim Reaper covers anyway. So
nice. And speaking of cool covers, later on this month on an episode of Comics Unleashed, it'll be a Halloween special again, like last year when everyone was picking out some of their favorite covers for Halloween. Once again, Codex Unleashed or Comics Unleashed will be doing that. So,
yep, we will. We'll Halloween especial.
Yeah, that will be a fun one. And Bouge agrees. It sounds like a cool cover. So
yeah, Bouge, I think it's. What did I say it was? What did I say? My mind is
Vanishing Point.
Vanishing Point. I think it was Vanishing Point 5. Jeez. Now make me look it up.
No problem.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, as you look that up, I think it's time to get a little insane.
Vanishing Point 5 is what it is. So there you go.
Okay, so Vanishing Point 5 for that cool cover with the Grim Reaper. All right. And now, it is time for Variant Insanity. So you know the rules. What comic book do you think had the most covers this week?
Damn. I didn't pay enough attention today. I don't know what. I'm just going to say because Batman #2 came out. I'm going to say Batman #2. I don't believe it's right at all.
All right. Abu said, yes, the core covers thing was pretty cool last year. So, yep, we will be, the correct station will be doing it again on Comics Unleashed. Okay, so you were going with Batman #2. How about anybody in the comments? Anybody have any guesses as to what comic book had the most variants this week?
Yeah, and I don't believe the Batman is right. It's just all I got.
Just throwing it out there. And as once again, it is always Sal the Slab Guy who does throw me the information as to what has the most variants and which one and how many it has. Bougie's going with TMNT. You know what? Richard's not here.
Safe choice.
So Richard's not here today, but I'm going to guess that Richard would also agree with TMNT, and he would go with his usual 23.
Yeah, I can't remember what Dynamite book was out today.
Well, everybody, I'll give you the countdown of the 10, the 9, the 8, the 7, the 6, the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1. And now I can tell everybody that the comic book this week, they had the most variants. It's not too surprising. It's Thundercats.
Oh, there you go.
Thundercats #19 had the most variants, had the most covers this week. How many do you think it had?
Let's say. I'm going to say Kitty Cats have 9 lives. I'm going to say it was a low one, 9.
Okay, going with 9. Anybody in the comments? I'm going to go and take a guess. I guess I'll have to do it. 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this week, okay, right before we go, Dan Kelly's going in with 19. Boogie's going in with 24. And Thundercats #19 had a total of 19 covers.
19. So that's what I said, 19.
It must have went out with the teen part. But either way, I know Dan Kelly did write 19. So
he did write 19.
So there you go. Dan got that one. He got that number right, but nobody out of all times, nobody had guessed Thundercats this week. Thundercats had to remind everybody, like, hey,
we're still here.
We're still here. We're still going strong with way too many variants. Or are they? Is it enough? But okay, Uncle Gary, it's time for some right or wrong. So would you like to give your statements, your 3 first, and then I'll get on to my next 2?
All right. All right, since it's Halloween season, let's start out with an easy one. Ghost Rider is Marvel's best supernatural character.
All right, let's see. Supernatural characters. Trying to think. I'm gonna go with right. I do like Ghost Rider a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ghost Rider.
All right. I'm bound to agree with you. I'm going to throw this on DC and say that DC's best supernatural character is the Spectre.
Let's see. The Spectre's awesome. I'm trying to think if he's the one I'm going to go with, or if I'm trying to think of anybody else real quickly.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
Would
There's
you
Dr. Fate, there's
would
Blue
you say
Devil,
X-Men?
there's Madame Xanadu, there's there's plenty of supernatural characters in the DCU, as there is Marvel. Swamp Thing, Cain, Abel.
Yeah, you know what? Then I'm going to go with Swamp Thing then. So I'll say wrong.
Okay.
All right. So with number 1, you had Boosh had said right, but Dan Kelly went with wrong. And for number 2, Boosh says wrong.
I figured this would be more divisive instead of just slam dunk rights.
Okay. Now, number 3.
All right, number 3, this Halloween season. John Carpenter is the best American horror director.
Best American horror director, John Carpenter. Can't think of any other movies, but as a big old Halloween fan, I'm going to go with right.
They Live, Halloween,
Yes, The Thing.
The Thing. Yep, The Fog, The Mist, The Fog. The Fog.
Yeah, so I go with, I say right. And yeah, he was the one. He would come up, he would do, he would direct, but
The
he'd
score?
also write. He'd do the score, yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, the Halloween score and the Thing score. The Thing score is really awesome too.
Even Escape from New York. I know it's not like horror, but he did.
Yeah, it's more action. Yeah,
yeah,
and
but still like did the
They
music
Live,
for that too.
They Live is probably more sci-fi than it is horror.
Yeah.
Too,
but even too, like, so yeah, he was singing
Yeah.
the music too as well. Yeah, but for number 3, everybody was going with right. Okay, so now I'll come on and take over for these statements. So my first statement: Thundercats need more variants.
Just like I need a hole in the head. Yep, absolutely. That's so wrong.
And then Bruce had said The Thing is an all-timer.
No, that's a top 10 all-time movie for me, is The Thing.
Okay, so then now I will get on to my second statement. Okay, here we go. X-Men Age of Revelation will be better than DC's KO tournament.
You say wrong.
You would say wrong. So for number 4, everyone was saying wrong with the Thundercats. Yeah. But okay, so now we will come back to your first question, and it was the one with Ghost Rider.
Right. Ghost Rider is Marvel's best supernatural character.
And we were all going, I was going with right. I think Dan was the only one who said wrong.
Yeah, Dan said wrong, so we can ask Dan who his is.
Yeah,
but I figured this would be divisive.
Yeah, but me, like I said, yeah, I'm a big Ghost Rider fan, so.
Yeah, I mean, you got Man-Thing, you got Moon Knight, you have, Werewolf by Night. So there's plenty of supernatural characters in the Marvel universe.
Doctor Strange, too, yeah.
Doctor Strange, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, but Ghost Rider is a favorite. I think, unfortunately, nowadays, I think he's starting to be underrated. I know he's in still a lot of comic books, but
I think it's the imagery of Ghost Rider is just so cool. The flaming skull, skeleton riding a motorcycle. I mean, that's it's just the imagery is so good. How can you not draw a Ghost Rider cover and not have it look, pretty rad?
And Dan had said he said Moon Knight or Doctor Strange. And then Boosh had said that Ghost Rider is one of his all-time favorite characters.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do definitely think he's certainly one of the coolest looking. Like you just said, like the image of him, I just think is certainly one of the coolest.
Yeah.
Still the bike, everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. The chain.
Yeah. And some great stories too around him. Yeah.
And then Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
And what's the greatest thing about Johnny Blaze? He's a carny. He's a carny.
Yeah. But like I said, a different kind of background. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Years ago, we had, back when it was me, Jamie, and Tim, we had reviewed the first appearance of Ghost Rider. Yeah.
Marvel Spotlight 5.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh.
I knew you'd know it, and you did. Yeah.
I have all the Marvel Spotlight Ghost Riders, and then I have All volume 1. Yep. 1 to 81.
Awesome, man. And then number 2 was the one
Number 2, I just flipped it to DC and I said the Spectre is DC's greatest supernatural hero. Not strongest, greatest. So I do think he's the strongest or most powerful. But the greatest, DC's greatest supernatural character, Spectre. I say yes just because it's really cool. He's a ghost. He's God's wrath bound to, somebody that's died, like Jim Corrigan or Hal Jordan or, I'm forgetting his name now, but the Crispus Allen, the detective that was killed, the Gotham detective. So,
it's certainly one of my favorite supernatural ones, but I was like, I'll go with Swamp Thing. I'd say somebody a little bit different, but still, I could definitely see the argument for it, and he's still one of my favorites.
Well,
like you said, definitely the strongest.
Swamp Thing and Spectre, along with Aquaman, are my 3 top characters, favorite characters of all. So I'm certainly not going to be upset with your choice of Swamp Thing. Much better choice there than Vixen over Swamp Thing.
Yes, I will agree. But before Dan said, he said, I want to get the issue where Ghost Rider fights the shark underwater.
I want to say that's 16. That's a cool cover. Yeah.
Ghost Rider underwater with those flames. But for number 2, Dan had went with Zatanna. And then
Constantine. Yep.
Boo said, Spectre's great, but I would go with Constantine or Etrigan.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, this is, like I said, I figured these would be much more divisive questions where, a lot of times lately we've been slam dunk questions like, is Sonny a deviant and stuff like that? Yes, of course he is.
Wrong. Wrong.
Yes. Right.
Okay, and then your third question was...
Yeah, I was going to look up Ghost Rider. The third question is that John Carpenter is the greatest American horror director.
And we all went with right. Everybody went with right for that one.
Everybody went with right with that. Good.
Yeah, like I said, we were talking about Halloween. We were talking about Thing. Yeah, and we were even talking about some other movies as well.
The Fog.
The Fog, yeah.
Yep. Ghost Rider.
But, did he do vampires as well, right?
I think he did a vampire.
Yeah.
I think so. But just the strength of those other guys are so good. All right, I've got my Ghost Rider open. Let's see what number is the shark. Oh, look at that. 16, baby. Look at that.
Let me make it even bigger. So everybody, there's me bigger, and now there's you.
There it is. I said 16, baby. There it is. Ghost Rider 16. And do you want to, since you've got me bigger, you want me to do the Vanishing Point cover? I might as well show you. Sure. Hold on. VANI. Give me a second. Because I work my tech. This
no problem. As you find that, number 4 was Thundercats Need More Variants, and everyone went with wrong.
There we go.
That is an awesome one.
Grim Reaper at the vending machine. Which one do I want? Mm-hmm. So I had to snag that cover.
Very cool. Very creative.
Mm-hmm.
So then my one was that Thundercats Need More Variants.
That's so wrong.
I think we could. Yeah, I think everyone knows that I'm
right to that.
No, I think everyone knows that I'm playing with that one. I will also go with wrong. Yeah. And then my last one was that X-Men Age of Revelation will be better than DC's KO Tournament. Age of Revelation, the first one came out, and I did enjoy it. So that's one thing I can really say. I'm enjoying it from the beginning. However, there's many more issues. It's like each spinoff is going to get like 3. So that's something. If it's going to be long and expensive. DC's KO Tournament. I'm sure there are going to be like spin-offs, but it seems like maybe there'll be like one main story where you don't need all the others.
Yeah, DC. I think DC's. I'm going to say wrong because I think DC's is a unique idea to do this. Even though I know we've had contests of champions and stuff like that, it seems fresher than Marvel revisiting the Age of Apocalypse stuff. We'll see. I'm going to get the main X-Men titles in this, but I am not getting all those spinoffs. I am not going down that road. I put one of them back today. I said, nah, I'm not getting it. So I can't remember the name of it, but
give it to me. I would take it.
You can go to the shop and pick one up.
Maybe later.
Maybe like,
Dan says the only reason for Thundercats is the only reason they need more variants is if they're paying me to draw them.
well, there you
Dan,
go.
I
That's
would like to see
reason
that.
enough.
Yeah, come on, Thundercats. You got enough variants. You could give a new artist, a
Get Dan
chance.
right.
Yeah, let Dan see.
Throw him a
Let Dan
bone.
let him show you what he's got. And then he did say, wrong. He said he had way too many issues, and that's with the. I think that'll be the main issue with Age of Revelation is that will be the argument. People say too long, but I wonder, how much will really be needed for the story. But for me, like I said, so far it has me invested in Age of Apocalypse is one of my favorite stories in all of comic books, so I'm really rooting for it. And we'll
You're
see what goes
invested.
on.
Will you be invested with your cash?
Yeah. I think I need to get some more money soon because they were talking about a whole bunch of them being released this month. This month is when like the 16 issue number ones come out.
Yeah.
Or maybe like I said, I think I'm gonna have to pass on that Guns N' Roses hardcover book and maybe put that money towards getting an omnibus of Age of Revelation.
That is definitely money better spent to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So there you go. That's one thing we all agree on that. Well, it wasn't right or wrong, but everyone was agreeing that we're not getting Axl Rose Appetite for Destruction.
No.
Yeah. All right. And then now that the right or wrong is taken care of, it's time to get to the random panel of the week. And Uncle Gary, I know you got a lot of classic comic books. Some might even call them antique.
I haven't seen it yet, so here we go.
Here we go. A woman in quite an outfit hitting a guy over the head with a chair. And she says, "Do you collect antiques? Collect one on your head." And yeah, the guy said, yeah.
Wow.
Yes,
That's I'm worried about that antique that she's busting up on that dude's skull.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, do you like, do you collect antiques? Collect one on your head. Yeah, chair shot. That's you can tell that's in one of those older comic books. Not too sure which one it is. I was looking up horror. I'm like, okay, I need to get horror random panels for this month, and this one was one of the ones I came across. I don't really see the horror aspect of it, but I just thought it was great with the.
You were looking for kinky random panels. You know you were, and that's what you got.
Hey,
I guess tiger striped outfit wearing a cape hitting a dude.
That is quite an outfit.
Yeah.
Remember, no kink shaming here on the Codex Station.
No kink shaming. That's what they're into. They're into busting. Chairs all over people. That's their business.
And Dan Kelly is spreading more propaganda, as he says, appetite for destruction is what Sonny calls it when he plays with his action figures. If that's the name, sometimes movies, back when I was a kid, I'd make movies with my action figures. Now I write them, but there was a time.
Were you making Texas Chainsaw Massacre with them?
Sometimes there was horror ones. So
yeah, I'm sure every time you played with them, it was a horror.
I'm a director, so I made sure everybody was good. They were all good. Even as much as me, I may have the axes and the knives and all that stuff. The toys were in good condition. But that was our random panel of the week. So like we said, do you collect antiques on your, do you collect antiques? Collect one on your head.
Yeah. Boom. I think in Trilogy of Terror, the Zuni warrior would have been scared of you. Did you know that movie?
No, but I'm just gonna agree with you because
there's a little doll that came to life and was stabbing Karen Black repeatedly. It was a little Zuni warrior figure, and it was terrorizing her. I think even that figure would be scared of you.
Yeah, either I'd use this, or maybe I'd use I'd be like our friend in the random panel of the week, and maybe I'd use a chair on that doll's head.
I think you try. That's for sure.
Yeah, so many movies with evil dolls. Yeah, dances. Yeah, Nightmare on Sunny Street. Well, you do know my last name. So
that's Kruger. That's right. He is a Kruger, and not Kroger, the grocery store. He's a Kruger.
Yeah, like Diane Kruger. She spells it my same way.
Like Sonny. I mean, yeah, like Freddie.
He spells a little different. He's Krueger.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Kruger. So there you go.
So you see, even Freddie didn't want to be associated with your level of deviance, and he had to change it a little bit.
You know what? One might say that your question may backfire on you.
Here we go. We segued.
Because now it's time for the F list.
Here we go.
Hey, you guys ready for things to backfire on you?
Mm-hmm.
Sonny watched Cannibal Holocaust and decided to recreate it with his G.I. Joes. Joining the F list today is Backfire.
Yeah, Savage Dragon. It's got to be.
And you look at Dan Kelly earlier in the pre-show, he had said, I'm guessing a Savage Dragon character who farts. And there he is as he's farting, and he says, got him. And you hear all the other noise do a frap, clang, boot.
Wow.
And here he is. He's in a fight with Super Patriot as he's, using his farts to fly.
That is, yeah. Of course, it's an Eric Larson character. As soon as Dan said that, I figured, yep, it had to be.
Yeah, so let's go with. But back to about the when Dan was saying about what I decided to do with my G.I. Joe's, Bruce did say he would watch that. But now that we are on to Backfire, I'm trying to find that old shit that Dan had said early in the show. If that was in the pre-show, he had said it. Well, you're just gonna have. Oh, here it is. I did find it. See, earlier he said Backfire. Is it a Savage Dragon villain with farting powers?
Of course it is.
He called it right. But let's see, Uncle Gary. What else do you think? Do you think there's more backstory to Backfire?
He obviously has a flatulence problem, and you say his name is Wind Mortimer.
Ding 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 ding. That might be his name.
That might be his name. So he had a, he harmed his mother when he was born because he shot out of the womb like this, and he hurt her, and she was damaged. She couldn't have any other children, and this is the only one she ever had because it was her first child. And so his mother hated him, and so she gave him off to an orphanage because she couldn't look at him every day knowing that he had damaged her internally. And so he grew up hated in an orphanage, and where usually if you bust your ass around a bunch of kids, they think it's funny. His were never funny. He was they were always deadly and noxious, and so he grew up to have an attitude, and he used his powers for bad. As a villain, he really stinks. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. So, all right. Let me get to some of the comments. Yeah, Boucher said should have called him the Gas Man.
Mm.
And then before I came to the toy stuff, yeah, Dan said don't encourage him, Bouge. He'll be telling me Sonny will make a drive to Toys R Us with a crazed look in his eyes. But back to Backfire, Bouge said, yeah, got his powers from radioactive 5-star bowl of chili.
I like that, Bouge. That's a good origin.
Yeah. Liz, you came just at the perfect time because it's the F list and we're talking about Backfire.
Liz, run. It's not too late. Get out while you can. He's pulling another Savage Dragon villain out of his rump.
Well, this character certainly pulls a lot out of him,
No, he's not pulling. He's exploding it out of his.
Yeah. This explosive character of Backfire made his first appearance in Savage Dragon 25.
Of course he did.
However, in Savage Dragon 180, he died. But we'll get onto that in a little bit. He's from Chicago, Illinois. Some of us are good from Chicago.
Did he die because they made him hold it in and he couldn't let it go and it killed him?
He was killed. Was it a prison fight? I'll find it in a little bit. But yeah, he was murdered in a fight. But he had powers No surprising that Backfire possesses incredible flatulence, which allows him to fire compressed gas beams as well as allows him to fly.
Flatulence should never be a power.
Agreed. Oh, but yeah, it's the history was that during the Gang War, various factions competed for leadership of the Vicious Circle, and one of the factions was led by Cesspool, who was also on the F list. He was all like the pimples, and well, one of Cesspool's guys was this soon-to-be F-lister, Backfire, and he was in a fight. He was defeated by Savage Dragon, but especially Super Patriot, as you can see in this picture. So they fought, and next thing you know, he uses his powers just to fly. He didn't really do much damage. I mean, he probably just smelled really bad, but he's not too tough as he just continues to fly around, shooting his fart bombs, you could say. Maybe he could make some windows explode, but not much else. He was defeated. And later on, Horde used the miniature Vicious Circle members to break into Stronghold Prison and released a large number of supervillains. And that's how eventually Backfire got out. However, Backfire returned many years later after this, and he was a part of an army of Vicious Circle members led into battle by Overlord 3 against the Tyrus combined. He was killed alongside the rest of Body Function during the ensuing mayhem.
Thankfully, he was killed.
And there wasn't much of him. In issue number 25, all these images were from 25. And in 180, so many characters are killed in that issue that many of them you don't really even see. Or it's maybe like...
Or miss.
Yeah, like maybe like you're super tiny at the bottom, a different color. But yeah, so... He did die. And he said, 1,000-mile stare in his eyes. And then he said, Pepto is his kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
He also eats my Lanta. No, I don't know.
But different vegetables are his fuel.
But not much fat. But it doesn't look like there's much vegetables in there. It just looks like it's all brown. Yeah. So
make you gassy is what it. Yeah. This is a good riddance.
Yeah, I say Backfire farts his way onto the F list.
He can't even see F from how far down that list he is.
Yeah, well, there we go. I saw, I said, look at this. Another guy from another Savage Dragon character in the same position as Heavy Flow. Sitting back, bending over.
Hate to mix the two of them.
Ooh. Yeah, Savage Dragon has... I should really be thanking Savage Dragon as he has rid Chicago of characters, like we said, like Backfire, Heavy Flow, Dung, Cesspool. Yeah.
That is a deep well of awfulness that you are mining characters from.
I know, it's almost... I almost feel like cheating now if I find an F-lister and it's like Savage Dragon. But hey... I think the world needs to know about some of these characters.
You're not helping anyone.
But would warning them be kind of helping, though? Like, hey, if you get Savage Dragon 25, just so you know this.
Eric Larson is even saying, please don't remind people I created this.
Yeah, I wonder, it'd be nice to talk to him to say, okay, who were some of your favorite F-listers, to ask him about Heavy Flow?
Which ones did you think were too outrageous and you didn't use?
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine those.
Yeah, imagine that.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I want to. if he's had characters with,
I don't know, the
period
scrotum.
blood and farting and
the scrotum maybe would be one.
Yeah. Mr. Hemorrhoid, maybe.
Yeah.
One, yeah. So.
Yeah, the jizz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere. I got to look. As there may be more characters like that. So I may have to do some more reading of Savage Dragon. So.
It's warping your mind.
Yeah, it's been warped a long time.
No, I'm not going to dispute that.
I don't think, and nobody in the chat is defending me either. So,
well, that's because we have smart people in the chat. They know a lost cause when they see one.
But one might say that's a scary thing to be considered that, but I'm all good. And now it brings us to our topic of the week, talking about some scary things. Our topic of the week this week is, what are some horror stories people should read for Halloween? I'll start us off with one, and this one you and Mighty Mike introduced me to. I'm going to start off with Detective Comics, and that is issue number 455. We reviewed this earlier in the year. It's a perfect Batman story, or Batman taking on Dracula story for Halloween.
There you go. You can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one where we're going to review in a few weeks, Swamp Thing 10. It's a great ghost story, but, go further. Read the original 10 issues of Swamp Thing by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson. There's a monster in every issue. A great monster in every issue.
And a while ago when we reviewed Swamp Thing number 9, it was one of the first stories you picked for us to review. I know one of your favorite stories.
Yeah.
And that was a really good one. So
there's an alien in it.
Yeah.
But he was not the monster.
No, I was going to say very misunderstood yet.
Nor was the Swamp Thing, but there were monsters in it. They just happened to look like us.
Yeah, the people are the most monsters ones. Yeah.
Yep.
With the most wild animal, with the most dangerous animals on the earth, the most wild ones. But how you mentioned Swamp Thing, I was also going to mention another story that I picked up years ago before I even thought of Codex. Well, before Jamie even brought the idea of Codex to me, I read this story, Swamp Thing. It's volume, what's considered book number 1, the saga of the Swamp Thing. So you got Alan Moore, as it says right there. But then this one includes the issues. Let me look at that. Yeah, this includes the saga of the Swamp Thing, issues 20 to 27. And one of the main story arcs was the one where Swamp Thing is taking on the Floronic Man.
It's hard. Yeah, it was very frightening.
And just the other day on Comic Character, let me get that up there.
Yep, Jason Woodrue was the character of the day. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Check out the Facebook group, Comic Character of the Day. Jason Woodrue, the Floronic Man was the character of the day, and I even commented. I said I'll never forget him pulling the chainsaw out on Swamp Thing, and that's in the story I mentioned. Yeah, so that was some good horror reading. And I don't forget you have so many of the classic horror stories.
Well, you can't go wrong if you're going to read horror classic. You really go back to where EC set the standard, the EC comics in the 50s. Haunt of Fear and Tales from the Crypt, and what was the other? Haunt of Fear, Tales from the Crypt, and Vault of Terror or Vault of Horror. Those were the classic ones. Those are the reasons we got the Comic Code Authority, because of the violence in those, and
some of those covers too.
Yeah, crime suspense stories also went a long way to getting the Code Authority. But those original ones, and then horror died out after the Comics Code Authority came out. Horror books died out, and then had a resurgence in the late 60s, early 70s, with DC. Joe Orlando, who was an editor that had worked in the EC comics, wanted to revive the horror books, and they had a wonderful revival. And the DC Bronze Age horror is just great. All new stories in most of those books. Marvel relaunched some, but most of those were reprints of the Atlas horror books that they had in the 50s, though they had, I think, Tower of Shadows might have been new stories in there. But I recommend getting those Bronze Age horror books and read them. One of the most poignant stories, I believe it was in House of Mystery 201, Jim Aparo art, I can't remember who wrote it, was called The Demon Within. It was a sad little tragic story that, was just terrible. So, these horror books are full of great nuggets, stories like that. DC just released a collection of DC's finest that had a sampling of horror stories from House of Mystery, House of Secrets, and Witching Hour. So hopefully this is DC's answer to the Epic line, the DC Finest line. So that's the way you can get a soft cover, $40 book, and you can get some great stories like that from those anthologies. There are also 2 great big volumes of the House of Secrets omnibus, House of Mystery omnibus, that collect a lot of those great horror stories in that era too, where it's you can get House of Secrets went in Bronze Age. The Bronze Age horror started in issue 81, and the omnibus, the two collect from 81 all the way to 154, the last issue. And House of Mystery started at 174, and there's two big omnibuses of that, and they collect a good bit, though there are House of Mystery went from 174 to 321, so I haven't collected all of those, but they've collected a lot. So those are great places to start. The Wrath of the Spectre is a great place to start, where you can see the Spectre, with his vengeance. One of my favorite ones is he turned a dude into a big block of wood and then sawed him up with a big circular saw. That's pretty gory, pretty tough. So those are good stories. But just and a lot of times with horror books too, the inside stories, if they're good, that's a bonus. But man, just having the covers can be enough.
Yeah, cover's pretty awesome. And speaking of how you say vengeance, made me think of Spirits of Vengeance, made me think of Rise of the Midnight Suns.
Mm-hmm.
Some other good ones. Boosh comes in and he says, "What is Uncle Gary's Uncle's all-time favorite horror comic? Swamp Thing?"
I tell you what, probably. And then the Wrath of the Spectre, the 10-issue Adventure Comics run from 440 to 441 to let's see, was it no, I'm sorry, 431 to 440. That is like 1A and 1B. Those are my favorites. And they've both been collected. So the Spectre, DC Finest did a Spectre run that's in. That was just done in the past couple month that book came out. And then the those original Swamp Thing issues have been out in the Bronze Age Swamp Thing trade paperback, or you can go bigger and get an omnibus of it.
Yeah. Another one too that I almost forgot. I had reviewed it a few years ago, and then the next year reviewed the sequel. But Hearts of Darkness is one that I always like to read around this time. The Wolverine, Punisher,
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Rider crossover where they go take on Blackheart. And then I did actually like the sequel as well, The Dark Design. Yeah. And then let's see, Dan comes in and says that the Midnight Suns team is the theme for characters of the day this month and Comic Character of the Day. Yeah. So like I said, go check out Comic Character of the Day. And another story, I believe it was Jamie who picked it, and we did review it on the podcast, and that is Night of the Ghoul. That was a good horror story that I really enjoyed, and that is by Scott Snyder, and the art was by Francesco Francavilla. So yeah, Night of the Ghoul was a good one. I did really enjoy that one.
That is very good too. And then a current one is, like I had said earlier, Hyde Street trade paperback #1 just came out today. So that's definitely got a Twilight Zone horror tinge to it. So please check that out. That is a fantastic buy if you get that. Jeff Johns, Reyes on the art, cannot go wrong.
Yeah. And then a story that when Jimmy got me into, Noctura. It's more kind of sci-fi, but there's some horror elements to it. But and then for a guy, I know he's not able to be on here today, Mighty Mike. I know he's a huge fan of Something Is Killing the Children. And
he loves that book.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's one he would mention. And when I mentioned Night of the Ghoul, Dan said that Night of the Ghoul is amazing. Yeah, so there you go. So there you go, everybody listening. You've got a lot of some horror recommendations from us. And then, of course, I got to pull one up on you and tell you that in 2 days, I, Sonny Kruger, will be releasing another story. I'll be releasing a horror story, and it is called The Viral Killer. There you go. I think the name kind of gives away what it is about. Someone who is a killer.
Syphilis?
No. A killer trying to go viral. What's going on? And it will be on www.wattpad.com, and my username is Son of the Writer. So there you go. That's a quick, short story. It'll literally probably take you about 10 minutes to read. So
yeah,
that's one thing that I'll be releasing in a couple days. But now, everybody, you have quite a lot of stories that you can go check out to prepare for Halloween this month. So with me, I say that's it. I've let you know what I recommend to you all. And Uncle Gary, is there any last minute stories or comments you want to tell everybody about?
I think we've given a pretty good gathering there, and besides besides the Hyde Street, there's we have the EC relaunch of Catacomb of Terror, Epitaphs from the Abyss. Those books. There have been trades of those recent EC titles that are out. So so those are available too. Plus Creep Show. Creep Show's been going for a few years now.
Creep Show, yeah. Dan has a guess as to what my story of our killer is about. He says it's about Sonny stalking the aisles of KB Toys. It's KB Toys. I remember those days.
Sonny put him out of business by slicing up all the action figures.
I was good, and like I said, KB Toys is where I saw the chameleon toy. But now we know the story that I later got one, 30 years later, and it's still, and there it is. It's in great condition. Nobody's broke it. I swear it's in great. I just can't reach it right now, but it's in great condition. So everyone, I tell you all, take care. Remember, tomorrow is Count Character of the Week. Who is the star again for tomorrow?
It'll be Stargirl Courtney Whitmore, and God help us, Chris Swartzlander will be a guest presenter because Sal is, I think, not going to be with us. So I think it's me, Dan, Jamie, and Chris Swartzlander. So, oh my gosh, that may be the last Codex broadcast on the air.
Good luck to you guys. It'll be a wild one. So everybody make sure to check it out. And then, of course, Comics Unleashed on Saturdays. And then also before we go, once again, a reminder, www.cbcawards.org. Vote for us, everything the Codex Station. Best live stream. Best informative content. Best live stream. Best entertaining content. And most engaging host. So make sure to get those votes in. We got until October 11th, so we really appreciate it. And we want to win. We want those bragging rights.
We do.
And we do appreciate everybody just in general. Thank you for always joining us. Thank you for always supporting us, the channel, everything. I always enjoy this every week. I've been doing this for over 4 years now, and I still love it every week.
And we still can't stop them.
That's right. No stopping. Still going strong. Not ever gonna tap out. I will continue on as we will, and everyone with the Codex Station looks forward to putting on all great shows and videos and everything for all of you. And in case you're missing us and you want to see more of us when we're not on live, what do we have? What are we dripping with, Uncle Gary?
All the socials, baby. You hit that button, you have more Codex than you can shake a stick at.
There you go. And of course, if you want to get some stuff, some cool stuff, get some merch, meet the team, and so much more, www.thecodexstation.com. And thank you, Boosh. Appreciate it. And too, like I said,
thank you, Boosh.
Next week, the man who is scheduled to join me is that man who is up for most engaging host, Sal the Slab Guy. And then in 2 weeks from now, we shall have Mighty Mike back, and Uncle Gary will be back, and we plan to review Swamp Thing number 10.
Number 10, baby. Yeah, y'all read it and and we can discuss it together.
Yeah, so sounds good, everyone. Take care. Be safe. See you on more stuff.